I have meeting is being live streamed. Is it live?
All right. Welcome, everybody. We are live. We are live, Mike, on the Rad Show.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Peter, are we live?
Yes, we are live.
Oh, we are live. I didn't even. Okay. Well, here we are. We might have to maybe cut the first 10 seconds out. Well, here we are, Peter. We are back again, April 2nd, the second Rad Show. Second time we're having a guest, Peter.
Yes.
So let me formally welcome everyone to the Rad RC Show. A couple of RC addicted dads on a Saturday night live. Peter and I, if you've been following us on our journey, we are several weeks into this, and we're back again here on a Saturday night, just having a good time. My name is Mike, aka Monster RC, affiliated with Carry All. Pick your choice where you want to get to know me from, but whatever the case is, I go by Monster. My co-host, Peter, take it away.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Rad Show. My name's Peter Lundberg, also known as Any Scaler. We got a lot in store for tonight, and we got a great special guest that's waiting to come on. We're getting everything situated with the live, and excited to be here. We got a great agenda tonight, great stuff to talk about, and it's up to you, Mike. I guess we can bring our guest on.
Well, yeah, do you want to do the intro, or are we going to jump right in with him?
Yeah, we could jump
Bring
right
him
in.
on.
All right.
Let's get right into this then.
All right. So as you guys saw on Facebook, Mr. Judd Rummage from RC Prorak we have tonight. Very special guest, Rick Perry.
That's
How
right.
you doing in the comments?
Yeah, I met Judd a couple months ago. Reached out to me on Facebook one day with a funny comment, asked me, hit him up about the Pro Pack. I'm like, a Pro Pack? What the heck did I do? Did I send somebody some next level backpack, Pro Pack? And he's like, no, I think you misunderstood what I said, not the Pro Pack. I said, hit me up about the Pro Rack. And I'm like, Pro Rack. So we get into it and starts pitching me this idea, this concept he had for this wall-mounted truck system, backlit, converts to a table stand. And I'm like, dude, I'm loving what you're selling here. And then he hits it out of the park when he tells me, but the best part, it holds a backpack on the truck stand. And I'm like, wait a minute. I like that. And it's been nothing but sweet dreams and Golden Road ever since. The man is a special dude. He's been in the hobby for a long time. Judd Rummage is one of the good guys, and I'm super stoked to have him on tonight. He's got a lot of irons in the fire. He is a man that is always on the grind. And I thought I was a busy beaver. This man, full throttle.
Yeah, and when I first met Judd, through you, and we started working together, and I got my first Pro Rack. It was just it solved a lot of issues with guys that have a lot of trucks. If you look behind me, I got trucks all over my hobby room, and I got the Pro Rack. I love the packaging, the header card, the easy installation, and the fact that it's universal. We saw at USDE people use it as work stands. I know Rebel had two of them on display. Just solves a problem. Great product, well made, well packaged, and I think we'll let the man, speak for itself here. Let's bring him on.
Absolutely. I'm excited.
All right, Mr. Judd should be showing up any second. And there he is. Welcome.
The
Hey
man
everyone,
of
how you
the-
doing?
We are fantastic, Judd. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Welcome to the studio.
Well, it is an absolute honor to have you on as a guest. You're our second official guest with our new little show here, and it is an epic pleasure for many levels.
Thank you.
You are one special cat, but I think Peter and I want to give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about about yourself. Introduce yourself to the world or the 5 people watching.
Hey, I'm Judd Rummage, and I'm just a RC cat. Been into the industry here for about 12 years. I've really enjoyed being an RC. I've met a ton of really nice people over the years. I've worked with a ton of really nice companies. Pretty much, I've had some experience over the years with almost all the big RC guys. I've worked with Axial. I still work with Axial. I've worked with Axial both in their Axial lifetime and their Horizon lifetime. I've worked with RC four-wheel drive in-house. I've worked with Vanquish, Incision. I've also worked with a couple other little small companies. ESP I've worked with, SBC, couple, scale crawler groups. Mike, I've worked with you a little bit. So
I know your resume, but
get
let me
around.
vouch for the work. You've done a couple of logos for us, and actually, Peter, the man behind our Rad Show logo, it was a perfect time to the CAD skills. You've got a talent. There is no doubt the resume that you have. Your work is proven.
Yeah, I've it's just been a long journey for me. Lots of experience. I've just been lucky enough to hook up with some good companies and some good people, and have the opportunity to grow my skills over the years. And it's really been, I wouldn't really be anything if it wasn't for this industry. They've given me so many great opportunities. So it's just nice to be here, be talking with you guys, and give something back, and
And that's
what
as you give back, Judd, I know in the past you've donated some pretty intense builds in your day. So not only as a CAD designer, you've got the skills behind the keyboard and the computer, but you can build an RC car.
I've had the opportunity to build some really nice things over the years, with the help of some great companies like Night Customs, A Main Hobbies, RPP Hobbies, Axial, Proline. All these companies have been really super supportive over the years, and I've done some really fun giveaway builds for Axial Fest. I don't know if any of you have caught a few of those or not, but they're out there. I'm kind of from back in the day, but there's a lot of those out there from kind of before COVID. If you kind of imagine that time. But yeah, I've had some opportunities to do some of those, and then I've also done a lot of work for Crawl for a Cure as well. So that's been kind of another aspect of things that I've really enjoyed, is being able to help out some people that have some good causes that are involved with the crawling world, and use the crawling world to kind of help their some really good causes, some really great charities. So that's been kind of a cool thing too. I don't mind. Some people ask me, well, how do you let these go? How do you spend so much time on it and then you just let it go?
Right.
But it's it always goes to a great person, and it always winds up where it's supposed to be. So I don't know. It's kind of a cool thing, and it just leaves it open for what's next, right?
Right.
So it's always good.
So the most exciting part, we got a chance to meet who you are, but this is the man. Peter and I get hit up on a daily questions. Who is the Prorak? What is the Prorak? Where do I get the Prorak? So ladies and gentlemen, this is the man behind the Prorak, the rack system that's backlit, holds a backpack. All the hype has been over this Prorak. Peter, do you have one like that you can swing to right now tonight? I know you usually are the man. Either we could share the screen or something.
Yeah,
Okay,
I can't lift my whole computer. Well, I do have to the
I
right
got
of me,
some
I have,
assembled here. This isn't as cool with the rack on the wall. Once you see it on the wall, the design behind the rack system's genius, and being able to get an optional lighting system, just to have a wall-mounted truck system, with the thought that you put into it, and then with the elite system that he designed, it actually converts. Peter, you have one together right now. That's actually a table stand. So, like Peter mentioned at USTE, Rebel had them powder coated, the powder coated black set
oh,
as a
there you
wall
go.
system. Here we go. That's what
There
we're
you go.
looking for. Um, this is absolutely fantastic.
Wow.
What a great setup. So, if you want to go to an event, you actually have a system you can take off of your wall, convert it into a table stand for an event. It's absolutely perfect. And what he solved is the problem with most stands is the universal concept of, and Peter can attest for this, it's hard to find a universal system that can adapt to all the different um, low center of gravity, I'm sorry, bottom chassis pieces. All the bottom chassis plates are different, and being able to solve that problem with such a simple design, with that padding, it allows it to work. Um, I know, Peter, you're super happy with it.
Yeah, so one of the issues that I had when I first met Judd was, like you, Mike, I got all these trucks sitting on, over my shoulder, running out of space. And, when I first spoke to Judd, I said, listen, I need the racks. I'm going to put them on the wall. And to the right of me, I have three trucks in a row with LED lighting. I can't show it now, but I'm looking at it all lit up and
Yep.
so easy to install, simple. And now when we go to events, Mike, we have our portable, for the trucks to
Love
display.
it.
And, the biggest thing that I like is, the packaging and, taking it out. You could have this on your wall in less than 10 minutes. I mean, I was able to install it, very sturdy. Trucks aren't going nowhere. Kids are not getting them. Great product. I love it. I think it's a home run.
I'm so
And
happy for you, Judd. Obviously, there's no stopping with you, Judd. You are always full throttle. Um, Can we talk about the new product that you're just released or are about ready to officially release?
No, we can talk about it. It's close enough.
It's
So
close enough.
yes,
Well,
I've basically worked out the proto here, and
yep,
so what you're looking at right here
it's so
is
cute.
is the proto, isn't it? Isn't it though? Hey, well, let's compare, right?
Right.
So this is big brother and little brother, right? So for your 1/24ths, you've got the full everything. You got the padding. If you've got some kind of lanyard or something for your
Yep.
even your mini remote, it's there. We can work it in somehow. It's basically just a scaled down version, and it does come with the slots. So if you're wondering, the cradle which is what I call the landing pad for the vehicle,
Yep.
is basically slotted here in the sides so that one side can move up more than the other. Sometimes you have to adjust by bending the tabs. Some people just kind of attach it that way and then kind of wiggle it and just kind of tweak on it till it sits where they want it. But I just bend the tabs 5 degrees. It doesn't take much to do that on a square edge table or a vise. And then I've already seen miniature 1/24th cheater chassis. So when the market hits that point, or when that market catches up to that, right?
Yep.
We're already ready. So this is already ready to be adjusted. Or some people have found, oh, hey, my vehicle wants to sit a certain way. I need to tweak this a little bit so the vehicle sits a little bit better. Some people go about it that way, but you can really just adjust forward and backward until your vehicle sits level.
Yep.
Even the Gladiator. So we're just looking at the Gladiator. I just pulled the Gladiator off an Elite here on the wall behind the computer that you can't see. And when it's sitting on the rack, a good 2/3 of the vehicle is off the rack. And it looks like it wouldn't balance, but it does. So even, I've gotten asked that question. Hey, I've got some vehicles with quite a long bed. It's quite a long wheelbase. Is Prorak still going to work? Is it going to be cattywampus? But most of those vehicles coming out they happen to be front engine oriented already. And for those that are a little shorter and front engine oriented, if you do have a little bit of a problem or need a little angle to keep, things sitting more solidly, then that's great too. And Peter mentioned the kids, and the racks, and a couple other people have mentioned, oh, hey, you mounted that in a pretty precarious place. One fall and that's going to smash what's under it. So I wanted to remind everybody too that we do sell the vehicle retention leases as well. So if you're a little bit worried about the vehicles being up there and what happens if they fall, well, we have the vehicle retention leases, and those won't let the vehicle move any more than 6 inches off the plate. And it's going to take a pretty big hit. I've actually had some pretty good luck with just these things being pretty stable themselves, sitting up here. So, they can take a little hit and still kind of maintain their cool on the surface up there. Also, the H shape here in the patented H shape in the perch or the landing pad there also will tend to grab onto the links. So if you do have a problem and it twists, it wants to come off, half the time it won't leave the cradle because the links want to grab onto that. So it's been a lot of development. I have tons and tons of time into the development. It's just isn't something I whipped out and printed and put in a package. This
Judd,
is
you brought up a great point there, is the time that you put into it, but also the amount of people that have had it already. So
absolutely.
If there is any doubt out there that this came out in a hurry, no. People have had this. People have been using it. It's been through the R&D and proven.
Absolutely. And one sort of a newer development that's kind of come along as well is Prorak XL.
Wow.
So
the big boy.
Here it is put together.
It's a beast.
The mothership has landed. So this is 16 gauge steel, so it's a thicker gauge steel than the standard Proraks. It's the same exact design as the standard, except I've taken out the bottle opener portion that's usually right here and just gone with more reinforcement, more thickness in this area to support the bigger vehicles. So this will support up to a 19.5-inch vehicle right here. So the width is really the big thing with Prorak. Length is never a problem on Prorak, but the width is really what determines what Prorak or where your vehicle should land. So all the crawler stuff, 110, typically you're good for the Elite or standard. If you have something bigger, like that King truck that I had earlier, like a bigger, wider, faster truck, up to 11 inches on the standard, because it's a flat surface up here, right? So lots of surface area, and you've got that space from the center point on over, you've got 11 inches. Or yeah, we'll support up to 11 inches. So this is actually On the standard edition, it will accommodate the half of that, right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Vehicle center point, half that sticks out. So when I tell you up to a 19.5-inch vehicle, that leaves about a little under 11 inches of clearance at the halfway point. Does that make sense?
So that model right there, perfect for the infraction.
Absolutely. And even up to a 1/4 car. So I went
Wow.
and I looked at some of the custom 1/4 cars.
Yep.
I cannot remember for the life of me what the company was, because it was kind of a go fast sand type thing that it just isn't my specialty realm, right? But I went to them because they're the leaders in that, and they're making the biggest cars. So I kind of looked at what's the parameter, what's the biggest car, and 19.5 inches was the biggest thing I could see. And that would be tires touching the wall, but completely centered on the cradle right here. So that's this one. So your 1/6 SCX 10.6s right here. This is your guy.
Perfect.
Right?
So you're answering the call with the micro boom happening, and now the SCX6. There's no stopping this truck. It's not going anywhere. The SCX is here to stay. So for the crawler guys, you're answering all the right questions, but there's the basher market out there. So somebody with a Traxxas Revo, that's going to answer their question now. This is the size that they need.
Absolutely.
Now, one of the questions that I do get, and this is, I guess, important, when you're installing this, if you go to a big boy, what type of hardware? Now, if we're going into a stud, I get a lot of questions. Now, I'm looking at my crawlers. The bracket's not going anywhere. But when you show this mothership, what kind of bracket and thickness going into a stud should you use? What do you recommend?
Yeah, let me talk a little bit about that. Let me grab a couple things that I have here.
And the reason why I bring it up is because now we're talking bigger. I'm looking at my infraction. I'm looking at the size of that thing. You don't want that to come off the wall.
Hey, you hit on it perfectly. The reason that my wall racks are not up here yet is because I'm taking the time to do it right once and not have to do it again. So I'm reinforcing the wall, and I'm going to secure it properly all in one day.
Absolutely. So with the Prorak, it's really critical that people know that, and this is in the instruction on the inside of the
Your header card is phenomenal, dude.
Yeah. So it's preferred that all Proraks gets screwed into a stud, right? And it'll give you a recommendation for a wood screw there. And all you're going to do for the 1/6 scale is scale the screw up as well, right? There's still close to the same. We didn't change the hole patterning a lot for the 1/6. So you can't use something like, super mega big. You could, but you could only pin it. You couldn't take it on and off. So we didn't really do too much changing to the hole pattern because we didn't feel we needed to. The standards tend to just stay on the wall, but it is nice to have the key holding if you want to take it down, clean it, paint it, do whatever you want to do. You don't have to take it all the way off, right? So one of the things that I wanted to stress is that if you are going to go to a drywall anchor, that you use a proper drywall anchor like this, right? So this guy, this is actually backwards.
Right.
Right. So it's like this goes into here, you squish it down, you push it through the hole, you anchor it, you screw it all the way down almost, and then you're anchored properly, right? Otherwise, literally, your car over time will work its way out for sure. If you use the little plastic drywall anchors, I think that's fine for this guy, right?
Yeah.
Go wherever you want. Use two, right? And you're good to go, right? Those trucks aren't very heavy. But when you come to the standard, that's when it's time to either move to a stud, or if you absolutely have to be in the drywall, use a proper drywall anchor, right? Just like this guy. then with the XL, you're going to want to just scale that wood screw up. And what you're going to want to make sure that you have with a large screw, it's always pre-drill, right? And this is in the instructions as well. Always pre-drill your holes into the stud, right? Why? Why do we pre-drill holes into our studs? So we don't crack them, right? Also, in the instructions is a little tip, if in case, this isn't, always on everyone's head, is where's your electrical? Where's your plumbing, right? Are you testing for that? You making sure before you drop that big stud or that big screw or start screwing into the wall that you know where all your plumbing and electric are at, and that you're not in an area where you're going to be.
That's a very good tip.
With any of that, right? So, as far as the mounting of the XL, it's two. You're just going to use two nice large wood screws with a big, hefty, oversized head, right? And if I were you, maybe I would think about for these that combo head, right? That's like has a socket head.
Yep.
And a Phillips, right? So if the Phillips fails or you need to get it extra tight, you can use a wrench or a socket on there and kind of just drive it in that extra bit, right? Or a hex head, just something bigger, more, it's just like if you've got to crank that big screw into that wall, you're going to want to have something hardy to drive it in that's not going to fail or ruin the hardware while you're driving it, right?
I like all of your tips. Safety first.
Yeah.
Bigger is better. Take your time and do it right. Get the stud finder, make sure you know where you're going. Do you have any tips as far as maybe clear coating them? Say if you're maybe putting these in a damp area, is there any issue with corrosion, or should they be clear coated, painted? I mean, painting, I guess, would be a cosmetic option for who's ever buying it, but say if it was in a damp area.
Yeah, it's a great question, and everyone should know that for the first 500 units, I believe that we've put out, our header cards say on them stainless steel. And that was printed and done before. I've gone through numerous price changes over the course of putting this product out. This product started at a lower price point even than it is now, which would have been a higher profit point for me because I do have a great price point. But over the course of time, just different things going on, COVID, the big tanker getting stuck, or the big shipping container getting stuck.
Yep.
All these different things that have been going on in the supply chain have just played havoc. So at one point, in order to keep the price point, we went to cold rolled steel, which is a great product. But after the factory coating really wears off, that classic, it's just a
like an oily residue in
almost,
a way.
Yeah, like a small thin residue. Once that wears out, or if that does wear out or makes contact with a cardboard or sits on a surface that absorbs it or whatever, then you can have some of that. So one of the things that, and this is why I do Prorak the way I do. So a lot of people are like, hey, why didn't you just buy adhesive rubber foam and just stick it right there with the whole adhesive, everything right on there. Just cut it into squares, do whatever. I don't like squares. Squares tend to peel up, right, at the corners, right? And also, I wanted you to be able to, if the foam wore out, to take the foam off and to replace it, right? So, and that's one of the things that I wanted to be able to paint this as well if you wanted. So I didn't want that, because people were like, well, why didn't you just put the rubber on right at the factory and it just comes like that and I don't have to do it. But again, it's all about the flexibility, right? So if you wanted to paint this first, then put your stuff on, great. A lot of people don't have the patience to do that. They're like, I gotta build this. Hey, it's not a big deal. It goes really quick. But if you bought like 10 of them, you'd be like, oh man, I got myself in kind of deep this time. But it's all about what you want to do. So I've had a bunch here. I'm right on the coast, so I'm right on the San Francisco Bay, and I haven't had a whole lot of problems here. But from time to time, we do pass a lot of parts into our seconds bin, and it's always a little bit of corrosion. Yeah, but the other good news, the other side of the coin, is that this cold rolled steel, once you clean it up, you just take a little, if you wanted to paint this, just get a little acetone, put it on a rag, clean this up with acetone, and it's like a paint sponge after that. So if you were to just clean this smooth, cold rolled steel, then you see some surface blemishes, like surface scratches and stuff in it, because it's just sheet steel, right? It looks pretty, unless you look at it with a microscope, but if you paint, if you want to paint these, this is prime material to paint. You throw a little acetone, clean it up. If you scratched it up with a little steel wool even, you could really get some bite. And I've seen quite a few of these painted up and they look fantastic.
It's the perfect wall-mounted truck stand for this hobby. We are DIY guys.
100%.
We are tinkerers. We are painters. So a little assembly required does not scare anyone away.
Yeah.
The ability to customize them, paint them your way, make them yours is genius. And one of the things you touched on was the assembly time. I've been seeing a lot of posts, 2-man teams just tagging up and just banging them out. Or the other thing is, there are a lot of people that have, we will say, an undisclosed number of trucks in case wives are watching. We have more than one truck, so you need to buy several of these stands. You have them priced right for the 1 or 5 that you need to buy at a time. So I encourage everyone, you don't have to do your entire collection all the same week. Buy 5 one week, buy 5 the next week until you get it all done. No one says you have to do it all at once. That's genius. Great photo. With the lighting.
That's my rack to the right.
Beautiful, Peter. Beautiful.
Wonderful. Yeah, it looks great. I mean, it's a game changer too. Like where were those before? What kind of space were those taking up? It's a problem for some people. Like how many
with all those little things that you worked in with the bottle opener, worked into the rack. It's that little extra that you thought about for the guys with the shelf queens that need that conversation starter. Uh-oh, bump my mic. Uh-oh, getting feedback. Are you hearing that? That was me. I bumped my, whoa, there we go. Sorry. It's a conversation starter for the shelf queens. Just have that wall rack and your truck's on display. The RC community needed this. And Judd, you answered and hit it out of the park.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad. It's there's a lot of guys out there. There's a lot of wives out there. There's a lot of wives out there kind of mad about about those 3 trucks sitting on the washing machine. They're gonna come in there and they're gonna tell you, I'm gonna be doing laundry here pretty soon. I'm gonna need those trucks off that washing machine. And where do they go then? Right into the right down a place I like to call Trip Alley.
Yes, my Scx6 is still in the dining room.
Right? Absolutely. America, all you crawler people out there, raise your hand if you've got a crawler someplace where it shouldn't be. So yeah, a lot of wives are going to be happy about this product too.
Yeah,
sure.
Well, and I think, collaborating with different companies, like when Mike and I were at USDE and we saw Jeff, from Rebel having it on his table, seeing it at events is key too. Like I was happy that I own the product, and then seeing it at events popping up more is just fantastic. It shows the growth of the Prorak and how it's quickly getting out there. And I hung my carry-all pack from it. I like that feature, and
Yeah.
it's growing at a good pace, I feel like. And when you mention the name, people know what it is. So, and I
You
know
can
Mike and I
even
have
get
been
a
promoting.
carry-all bag to match your Prorak. We have a Prorak edition bag.
I do. Now, I wasn't sure if I should bring that out.
Well, listen, it's at the early stages, and we've been having fun. We did this one for
Yeah.
Judd, so he can hang it up. And um,
I'm in the belief, and tell me if you guys are right, if I'm right here, but you don't wear the shirt of the band
you're going to see.
the concert of, right? Am I right?
No, wait.
Isn't
I took this truck to Proline by the Fire, and I was so excited to take this truck. I'm like, dude, my homie busted my balls so bad. He's like, bro, come on. You don't wear the shirt of the concert shirt of the band you're going to see, dude.
I don't know. It's just a rule from our generation, right?
That's great.
But that's
So, here's a question. We talked about the 24, we talked about the big scale. What are your future plans as far as events, or, are we going to see maybe a booth at upcoming events for ProLash? Do you have anything in the pipeline, or as far as maybe see them on hobby shop shelves or anything in the pipeline?
So right now I'm trying to work on distribution because I want them out in the shops for sure. I mean, it's a pretty easy win for the shop guys. So shop guys, if you're out there, I've got shop pricing, I've got some retail stuff for now. Until I get distribution, I'm just going to collect shops. I'll sell small amounts to them, and if I get distribution, I'll just hand them over. It'll be a nice thing to hand them over to the distribution and have them just have it lock into the one easy motion for me. That would be nice.
It's such an easy sell for a hobby shop. For them to have them on display, have a couple of trucks up on a wall rack. When a customer comes in, they're asking, what do we have for a stand? What do you have for a wall rack? And these hobby shops already have them hung up. And well, right here, we can show you how it works, and they're packaged, all ready to go. So I think a hobby shop is your future.
And I think the price point, if somebody's coming in to buy a sledge or an infraction and dropping that kind of coin, and they need a solution to store it, the price point, if it's up on the wall at the hobby shop or a distributor, I mean, how could you go wrong? I watched the other day, I watched a family come in with a plane, and I'm watching the guy sell a remote, a battery. She only came in for a battery, $600 later. And I'm like saying in my head, I'm like, in this hobby, a $20-$30 option to mount the car, it's a no brainer to be up on the wall at a hobby shop.
Judd, how about an adapter for the boat guys? I bet you there has to be something.
Oh, I got a boat that I'm looking at. Yeah,
it's for sure in the works. So
okay.
I have somebody in the boat industry that I'll be reaching out to. I definitely have this in the works. There are quite a few different kinds of boat configurations.
Right.
And so I'm just wanting to, basically when it comes to boats and planes, I know what I don't know. So I'll focus on that and just make sure that I want to do it right the first time. And that's what it's all about.
Should be nice on the wall.
Just right. Absolutely. You're damn right it would be. And it belongs on the wall because that's a big surface taker right there, man.
Yeah.
That's a whole shelf, right?
I have this up on the wall instead of above me, taking real estate.
I agree. And so that's definitely in the works. And then I will definitely be out at the events this year. I've been missing things through COVID. I had, unfortunately, for the last 3 years, I've had a parent die each year. So
Sorry
it's
to hear that.
been, yeah, thank you. And it's been kind of rough, and it's definitely taken me off my focus, you know, and it's I'm, you know, I've worked through that, and it's, you know, that's where they would want me to be, then that's for sure.
Good.
So I'll be out at the events, and I'm definitely going to be setting up a booth.
Perfect.
We'll have Prorak for sale, and I will also be there. You got to understand too that Prorak is. I'm the face of Prorak. I'm the designer. I'm the engineer. I'm the
You're the guy.
I'm the driver, but really the heart and soul of this is my son Jonah, and he is autistic, and this business is his. This is his
Good for
legacy.
you.
This is his thing that he can do independently, that will work for him, that he doesn't have to do on anybody else's terms, or you know try to you know, he has enough challenges in life as it is. So I think you know, this will be a way that he can maintain some, you know, his own independence, which is really
Fantastic.
important to me. So you know, he's the heart and soul of this, and my family is too. So this is really theirs. So I do this for them. But I will also be at the events as JRC. So, you know, some of you know, and some of you don't, that's Judd Rummage Concepts is my building persona, my design persona. I do design across a lot of different genres, really, a lot of different companies and industries. So I do a lot of hard good, soft good graphic design, but I also do apparel design, and I've been an apparel designer for over 15 years now. So I've worked for some large companies in California. I was in Orange County for quite some time. I worked for Rusty, Hurley. I worked for the La Jolla Group, who does O'Neill and Metal Militia. I've also worked for Nike. I've worked for Fox, and I currently work with Hoonigan. So I currently design for Hoonigan. I'm an active designer in their t-shirt line and accessory line, and I also did the entire Travis Pastrana line. So this is, if you don't know, Hoonigan is a hot rod, basically a stunt driving outfit.
Kill all tires.
Yes, kill all tires, and they love building custom rigs, and they kind of do it on two levels. They have Hoonigan Garage, which is something that you guys should all check out, Hoonigan Garage, where they take all kinds of smaller projects from guys in the shop, go and they pick and pitch these different projects. One was they put the airplane turbos onto the Trans Am, onto the shitbox 80s Trans Am, and that was one of the cars that they did, and they ran it until it blew up. So you've got all these different projects that are going on within Hoonigan Garage, and then you have Ken Block, who is the rock star of the whole thing, and he does the Gymkhana videos every year on YouTube. So each year they build a custom car, it gets a custom livery. They then take the livery, they transfer that into merchandise like t-shirts, hats, stickers, keychains, lanyards, so we can all enjoy and style out like with the vehicle stuff, right? And so that every year they do that, but in 2021 they did that with Travis Pastrana. He took over, right? So they went from Ford back to Subaru. So they went from the Hoona truck and the Hoona Corn to a custom built Subaru, ground up Subaru. So if you haven't checked that out, check that out. Hoonigan Gymkhana 2021 is what you look up, Gymkhana 2021, and that's Travis Pastrana on there driving that Hoonigan Subaru, and this thing is on fire. It's the world's fastest Subaru, period. It is the world's fastest. I think it's 1,600 horsepower out of that little tiny motor.
Wow.
They said there's a whole series on just the car. They talk about the car, they talk about the motor. It's a Subaru only made 700 carbon tops for those things, and he got one of those carbon tops for that car. Full custom livery over the whole thing, custom insignia, and then all custom. Everything's just built from the ground up. They just take the tub and they tube out everything else. Custom motor. They said the hardest thing about that motor was keeping the cylinder heads from blowing out the top. It's from just blowing the tops out. So there's all kinds of reinforcement on the tops of the cylinder blocks and stuff to keep it all together. It's like a two-piece thing, and it's insane. So that there's a whole thing. He could control how much fire comes out of the exhaust on the hood. right on the wheel, there's a custom button. It's like they're like, Travis, number 2, we need the fire up, and then they do the take with the fire coming out way harder, and
Awesome.
Those guys know how to shoot a video. And Judd, you've got the you've got stories. You know the right people. You've been in the hobby. You are a great person to support. I love the fact that it's April, and April is Autism Awareness Month. So I am an ASD warrior myself. You are speaking my language, building a business for your son. Much love to that. I know you will be at the Autism Crawl. Peter and I are coming out to the West Coast. We hope to hang out with you at Proline by the Fire. Where can we find you on Instagram? Are we running off of the Judd Rummage page on Instagram still?
Absolutely, but there'll actually be a Prorak Instagram page going up in,
Perfect.
I would say, the next week or so. We'll get
people want to post and show off their new wall racks.
Absolutely.
So we'll look for the Instagram page. They can find you on Facebook. rcprorack.com is where you buy them. We got that correct, right?
Yes.
rcprorack.com. I hate to cut you off, but we're running late now, and we got to
We just got a comment. Art from Power Hobby is interested in pricing. So, Mike, if you want to connect Judd with Art,
absolutely. Judd Rummage Concepts on Facebook, Judd Rummage Concepts on Instagram, or just Judd Rummage, and you can look me up.
All right, great.
Perfect.
Well, great
Judd,
having you, man. This was
thank
great.
you very much.
Yeah,
great product update.
We look forward to seeing you guys at Axial Fest, ASD. I'll be supporting ASD graphically as well this year, and I'll have some builds there. I'll have a special build for ASD this year. I'll have a special build for pretty much every event. So look for those out there. I'll be raffling a few of them off as well. I'll keep you posted, and you guys have a good one. It was great to be on with you tonight.
All right, thank you, Judd.
Thank you, Judd.
All right.
That
was awesome. That was
Peter,
awesome.
That was perfect, Peter. I mean, I know that you and I both have been fielding a ton of questions recently about this Prorak, and just giving Judd the opportunity. I know you and I have both been speaking with Judd now for a while, but I love the fact that he was able to put a face with the company and actually see what you're supporting, a small mom and pop on the grind for all the right reasons. And the dude is a legend. He's been around for a long time. It's no BS with this guy. I've had many of talks with him, and the amount of people he knows, and he's been around for a long time. Solid dude.
No, I think it was great. He explained all the products. He showed the new ones, what's coming down the pipe. And, I really like the big truck stand for the Action or the Scx6. I think that, it's a positive brand. I like what he stands for. And if you guys on the call here haven't checked it out, definitely worth checking out.
While we're talking about big stuff,
Yeah, I know about this thing.
Oh, wait, let me see if I can try and fit this thing in the screen somehow. So, Judd wanted to talk about an SCX6 wall rack. So, how about an SCX6 V-Plow? I think I can only get half of it in the screen. Now, this is a 6 scale V-Plow. Hang on. I'm trying to flip the boss side. I can't even get it in the screen. This thing's ginormous. Solid V-Plow, dude. The detail in this thing, I mean, it's got the guard along the bottom. I mean, it lips over here. I mean, the amount of detail, the way this thing was put together, dude. SCX6 V-Plow. This thing
Yeah,
showed up today. It was like 20-pound box. I mean, this thing, it's ridiculous. I wish I could get it in the screen somehow and show it off, but
that looks awesome. Yeah. So what's up in the RC world? You know, we had some trucks drop this past
we
week.
did. Well, sorting through a crazy day yesterday. So, for those that don't know, yesterday was April 1st. And for those that have been around the hobby for a long enough time, know on April 1st, we get all kinds of doozies. If you have a good sense of humor, April Fool's Day is for you. And so there's no shortage of posts from different truck companies. You have to kind of sort through the chaos. Big shout out to my man Corey Allen from GA Rock Zombies. Before we touch on the product, if you don't know, GA Rock Zombies, you guys need to follow these guys on Facebook. They're down south. They have a great Facebook group. They put on amazing events. The fall haul and crawl, where the event's literally based around trailers and towing them around. They do the wet and wild in the springtime. Corey Allen, Scott Bray, the whole GA Rock Zombie crew kills it. Well, yesterday on April Fool's, they went on and removed Scott from the group. Corey just booted him. And I get a message from Corey telling me he's out of the hobby, done with all the drama. I'm selling everything. I'm out. So I'm thinking, yeah, April Fool's. You're not going to fool me, dude. I wait about an hour and I call Corey, and his forgive me, fiance wife picks up the phone, and she tells me Corey's locked in the bedroom. Usually when I get home from work, Corey's in his RC room, but Corey's locked in his bedroom right now. He's not taking any calls. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. This wasn't a joke. Well, long story short, it was all a hoax. These two played out the most elaborate April Fool's joke ever. I mean, they had so many people involved. Admins were involved. I mean, they got me hook, line, and sinker on all levels. Excellent prank. So to some people, April Fool's Day is, the day they look forward to all year. So in between all the chaos, we do know on 3/31, Axial dropped their SCX24 Bronco. Unfortunately, mine still hasn't arrived. I messaged them. I'm like, mine didn't show up yet.
And I tell you, it's funny they dropped that
wish
just
I
when
had
I
it
bought
here.
the Gladiator. You know, if I would have known, I mean, I just bought the Gladiator. I
You
was all
didn't screw up, Peter. I'm glad you got the Gladiator. You need it both. You need them both. But to do a hard body
yeah.
Bronco, they got it right.
And I think ever since the Gladiator, with the scale interior, the way the body comes off, the scale accessories, and
100%,
now you
dude.
look at the Bronco and you're like, man, they're just onto something. They're just, continuing.
So I got new black wheels. I did the black rooftop with the black wheels. The
Nice.
left side's still chrome, but the black wheels. I mean, the thing looks so good, and the interior.
They just
You
do,
did not screw up getting
they're
the
onto
Gladiator,
something,
but to come
and
out with a hard body, I mean, Axial is getting it right.
just when I was going to put the little ones away, and now I got to buy another one. But
It seems like the micros are not going to die this year.
No.
This might be one of the years that at events they're setting off little areas. All the 10 scale events that you're used to going to, they're putting in these 24 scale crawling areas for everyone to go
there's a
enjoy.
following. I mean, when you look at USTE, they had the whole 24 city, you know, it was just, they had their own dedicated, and you're going to see that a lot more at events, I think, you know, the 24s, I don't think they're going away back on the shelf. You know, people are comping with them now.
And
You
then
got the
Judd comes
Prorak.
out with the little Prorak to
Yeah.
answer the question. I mean, the call for this Prorak was perfect. The 24 scale stuff's not going anywhere. Trio continues to be on top of the game, bringing all the right wheels, the right scale, aluminum upgrades to get your micros dialed in. It's
Yeah, I
just
mean,
a great time for micro.
those trail parts for the Gladiator, and just in general, I mean, I have them on the Betty. I mean, that the color is just it pops, man. You know, hats off the trail on that. You know, I'm definitely gonna pick up some more parts, and then, you know,
I think
also
the Betty was my most favorite build to do with all the trail accessories. The Betty was a blast. I had so much fun doing that truck.
Yeah, and you printed me all the accessories, you know, to go with it. You know, like the sand ladders,
yes,
and
that green. Oh,
yes, that green. That was a good release. But you know, I'm very happy that Axial took the scale features and put them in the 24s. I mean, these last two releases, the Bronco and the Gladiator, just off the chart. And
it is.
You know, I had somebody send me a picture today. I think it was Size Matters. You know, people going brushless. People really putting time and wrench work into these 24s. And I know guys that we know, you know, they comp with them, they go full brushless. They're putting like Reef 99s. They're just going off the chart with these 24s. And I think they're around to stay. I mean, you know, we'll see them, you know. And the other release, well, ever since this boom truck, you know, now I'm like got the boom bug. And I don't know, people on the call, you've seen the limited edition Boom Dually that's coming soon. You know, that was pretty impressive. That was all over social media this week. And, you know, I first looked at the truck and, you know, only 130 units available. And I tell you, man, ever since I built this BRX2, man, I'm hooked, man. What a play. It's behind me. I don't know if you can see in the background there in the garage, but yeah, what a truck.
Amazing job for your first hard body paint job, Peter. You hit it out of the park, dude. You did
now
phenomenal.
Thank you.
The color, the paintwork was amazing, Peter. And I don't give compliments often, and it takes a lot to impress me.
You know, it came out good. You know, for the first one,
it really did, Peter.
You know,
it was a sharp truck.
Now I will
Dreamer
say,
and I sat around on Friday talking about your boom racing BRX V2 build on Friday, and we were just private talk, two dudes, like we were really in awe of what you did with this. It's phenomenal. Great job.
And you know, I'll be honest to the viewers, you know, it depends what you want to do. When you get kids, you know, like I remember my first Vanquish I'm looking at, you know, it went together smooth. This boom racing is something I never did in the hobby. I mean, when I say there's thousands of pieces in the body and you want to do multicolor tones, I mean, it's the amount of spray paint, the amount of colors, the masking, and, you know, it's a kit. I'm not going to lie.
I forgot, with your Forerunner, with your RC four-wheel drive Forerunner, you got that RTR, correct? Like that came already, that hard body was assembled.
The only thing that I did to that was I custom painted the interior. I put some new stripes on, but the BRX, to answer your question, was my first my own
hit build. Yes,
still painting night after night, you know, getting high as a kite, painting in the house.
Yep.
But yeah, the BRX Dually is just something. I mean, they're doing some good things at Boom Racing. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I still got to trail test it, but she's done. Time to move on to the Rebel and get that project done. But yeah, so those were some releases. I know we're over time, but we could keep going. I mean, I'm good.
Let me I know I have a couple of things to talk about with Carryall right away. Peter, first let me compliment you on your shirt. If you noticed this week, Carryall did drop the pictures are out there now of the Rebel special edition bag. It's out there for the public to see. The wheels are in motion, trying to make it a thing and accessible, probably early fall. We'll do some sort of a collaboration project where we can bundle a Rebel truck with the bag somehow. But right now for the team, I bumped that mic again.
And as you're fixing that, Art just mentioned new tires are coming out for the 24 for Power Hobby.
Nice.
Yeah.
I bumped the mic, and now it's.
No, you're good. Just
You're not hearing that. That's on my end then. Um, I lost my train of thought. I wanted to say, Carriol dropped the Rebel bag, and you might have seen the G Speed
yes,
special
I saw
edition
the
drop.
G-Speed. Yeah.
Hats off to Gabriel Fleming and the entire G Speed family. That crew of guys, and the supporters that are behind G Speed are some of the best people in the RC community. It was an absolute honor and a privilege to work with them and get that special edition bag done. I don't
I think you just leave it. You
know
sound
if
fine.
you're hearing
Just
that.
don't-
Are
don't
you
touch
hearing
it.
that static now?
No, you're good. Don't touch
Okay.
the top of it.
I
Just leave it.
bumped it, and now I can't get it to stop. It's like buzzing in my ear. Stupid thing. Move this mic up. But yeah, so the Gabriel Fleming from G Speed, it was an epic pleasure. Those guys are phenomenal, and I wish them all the luck next week at Scale Nationals. He's got a crew of guys heading out to the Scale Nationals. You've seen what Scale Builders Guild and Josh from Harley Designs. Those guys have been battling back and forth. I mean, putting their talents to a task. Like these guys are on fire. What they're building right now, man, it's good stuff, and it's exciting to get behind. You know, I'm not a comp guy, but I can definitely respect a nice build and the passion that they have for the competition side. So I wish G Speed all the luck out there at Nationals.
It's great.
And the Big Squid RC, moving on to them, that X is almost done. We have one coming up for Crawler Colt next. You got to see that one at USTE, Forever Tiny Wheels, based off of that logo work that he did. So if you're not familiar, X. What's that?
I gotta get that X.
Yes.
That X.
Crawler Colt, people, if you're looking for some RC swag, something with an edge, this guy walks on the dark side. He pushes it to the limit, and you know, Mark is 1 in a million, and we can't wait to get Mark here on the show so you can meet the man behind Crawler Colt. He is a treat. He is a ball of energy, fun to get behind. But in the meantime, please get over to Crawler Colt RC and check out some of the apparel that he has. He's always releasing new stuff. It's really fun RC apparel with an edge.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, he's a great guy. You know, at USD, we had a good time hanging with him. His boot setup is great. I believe he's going to Beat the Creek. And,
yep.
You know, speaking of Beat the Creek, just quickly go through the upcoming events if you're good.
Because Carriol will be sharing a booth with him at Beat the Creek again. We'll be right there with Rebel. Pretty much that same atmosphere as USTE. Will be Rebel, Carriol, and Crawler Colt all together.
Awesome. You're good if I
please
go over?
Yep.
All right. So some upcoming events, as you guys know, we got King of the Castle coming up for you Eastern guys in New Jersey. Great event. You know, Jersey Scale, Beat the Creek in May. K&K coming up in June, and Badlands June 22nd. So I guess I'll stop in June. Yeah, so those are all great events. Carriol's got a presence at some of them. Trail's going to be at Beat the Creek. We sponsor, you know, as one of the general sponsors of parts. You know, unfortunately, I can't make it down there, but if Rich Kroon has an extra spot in his car, maybe kidnap me down in New York. But
I'll ask him tomorrow. We're heading out to the trails tomorrow morning at 8:30.
Okay.
Richard and I are meeting up with some local guys. I'll definitely ask him.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Chris Lingren does a great job. I talk to him a lot. It's this year is supposed to be great. You know, bigger attendance expected, and it's good carry-all. You know, and all the brands will be down there. You know, looking forward to seeing some content. And like you mentioned before, you know, as far as getting out to the West Coast, you know, really excited about that because, you know, for a lot of reasons. We got carry-all West Coast guys, trail West Coast guys. Pro Line by the Fire is definitely something that's on our radar. Already started mapping out an itinerary with Mike. So I think that would be a fantastic event to meet a lot of the team guys from trail carry-all or just West Coast guys in general. just seeing the Pro Line by the Fire. There's a lot of names that I would like to meet, and it's a big trip. I mean, for guys that travel to events, whether it's car, whether it's in the air, it's a lot involved. Rental cars, hotels, and it's a lot of planning. And I think if that's going to be my only other event, that'd definitely be a good one to attend. So more on that, and then as I guess as we wrap up next week, the show, we're gonna look for a post. Mike and I'm gonna be away on business, so Mike and I are gonna talk this week, see if about the show next week. But we got a lot of guests coming in the pipeline. You heard Mike mention a couple. We're gonna keep bringing you the best content and guests we can. We got a lot of people that want to jump on. We thank Judd. He did an awesome job talking about the company. If you guys just joined, like Tyler and some other guys just joined, watch it again. I mean, Judd did a great job, explained all his new products. Mike and I just, the 24 racks are coming soon. He's got, the big scale stuff for the Scx6 and traction. Judd's doing a great job.
As much as I know about the Prorak already, like I thought I knew it all, I still learned a ton. You can learn a lot just by watching it over again. And the inside of the header card, when you flip that thing open, I mean, the detailed instructions inside the header card is phenomenal, but to hear it from him go into a detail and put a vocal explanation behind it it's worth a watch. I encourage everyone to tune back into it. It's worth it.
Yeah, and there's another event that Wes made just mentioned in the chat, Rosh Creek next weekend.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, so Rosh Creek's going on for you guys that are close to there, so definitely check that out as well.
Fantastic.
I mean, I'm a truck guy.
See what Wes dropped. Wes, one of his Volkswagen builds went out, and this is a Wes made plug right here. Those wheels. These are
that was the ones he designed.
He did. Yeah, they came out so good. I mean, it finished off the truck so nice. Wes, if you're not familiar with Wes Made, go check out Wes Made Builds.
Yeah, he's got some great stuff. Wes does a great job. So we got a lot of exciting things. We got I'm happy that we got the platform down, the YouTube live. Share it with your friends, get them to like the channel. It's only going to grow, and like we said, we're going to try. Mike and I are going to try our best to bring you the best guests. The best brands, the best content. And it's only growing from here. We do have discount codes in the future. We do have giveaways planned. So each week's going to get better, and the attendance is going to change, based on people's personal lives. But it's just two guys hanging out, going through the week of RC, what went on, what was dropped. And if you look at the track record, it seemed like the last couple of weeks, the brands are dropping new trucks left and right.
Absolutely.
Axial.
There's no slowing down.
It's just on fire right now. And like I said, I buy the Gladiator and then the Bronco drop. So, it's you never know what's going to drop tomorrow. You wake up and go through your feed. You never know what's going to be on social media. For the guys that are in the in crowd, I guess, no. But for us other guys,
the weather's changing. You can feel it in the air. The weather's changing. RC is out there. And I'm looking forward to the show more and more each week. So a big shout out to you, Peter, for all the hard work you do behind the scenes.
We're a team, man.
People might look like we know what we're doing, but we're learning on the fly. And each week we get a little better and better and a little bit more of a hang of this, but it took time to get here, and no shortage from the work that you put into this, Peter. So
and we're a team, and like Mike said, good point is it took a lot of work to put this together on a level that's comparable, with the Zoom technology, the YouTube live, a lot of guys that have shows already, trying to get to that level, and we're just practicing. And at the end of the day, we're just here to talk about RC, man. That's our mission, keeping it positive, keeping it real, no drama, just sharing to the public, like what went on and what we like and what's coming up and what to look out for. And, like we're not, like Mike always says on every show, we're not paid spokesmen by any of these companies at all. And we just like to share what we like and what works for us,
Well said. Perfect. And I know we're well over our time limit, and I'm getting reverb in my headphones, so I'm all off. But listen, April, April is Autism Awareness Month.
Yes,
So
happy
people,
Autism Awareness Day.
yeah, please. You're going to hear it a lot from people. Leave the blue light on. And people will put blue lights on their front porch, put blue lights in their RC cars. We go blue in April for autism awareness. And I encourage everyone to get behind it, show your support, bring the awareness to autism in the month of April. But everyone get out there on Facebook, Instagram, use your social media platforms for the better. Share your adventure, share the fun, but don't let it be the reason why you do the hobby. Very clear distinction what I'm telling you there. Don't get confused. Get out there and use it, but don't let it be the reason why you do the hobby. I mean,
Yeah,
we do
and I
it
think
because we love it.
and I think that's a big, issue that people think about. Like, people use social media for likes. People use it to stay in the hobby.
You're
It's all
misdirected.
about the adventure, sharing your adventure, sharing your builds. Hey, listen, not
I want to
everybody's a
see
master.
your fun. I
Yeah.
love when you post stuff, Peter. I love seeing it.
Not everybody's a master builder, right? We all started somewhere. Like you mentioned earlier, the BRX was my first full custom paint job that I did on my own. It's all about the adventure. It's about the story. It's about
Trying something new.
just teaching yourself and learning, and listen, am I perfect? Did I make mistakes? Did I have to repaint parts of my body? Absolutely. Did I have to resand, reprime? Yes. But it's all about the adventure, the story behind the build. And at the end of the day, what do you get out of it? The positivity and keeping it real. It's not about
It-
likes. It's not about shares. I have people that say to me on a daily, "Oh, I only got 5 likes," and I'm like, "Well, if you're in the hobby for looking for 100 likes, I mean, I post frequently on my Instagram, any scaler. If I get likes, I get likes. Some content is better than others. I look. You try to see the algorithm, how Instagram works. I'll give you an example. I posted my armor truck, got 4,000 views. I post something about something else, and I get 100 views. So you look at the time of the day, you look at the algorithm. How does that make sense? You post the same quality content video, one gets 4,000, one gets 100. You know, so if you're in it for the likes and the views, I mean, hey,
don't
everybody's in
mean
it for a different
anything.
reason. But
If your Instagram gets taken away tomorrow, we want to know that you're
are you
here
still
doing
here?
the hobby. That's
Ask yourself that question. If your Instagram or Facebook died tomorrow and you were locked out, would you still run trucks?
100%. Never
I
a
mean,
doubt. I was
I don't
here
know how many
before.
people would say yes.
I
I
was
mean,
doing this before social media was the thing, and you hear when it's gone. So
so all
we're
right.
here
Well,
to
I'm
have
looking
fun,
forward.
and we want
Next week
everybody
we'll
to.
discuss. We'll
I'm
discuss
sorry.
next week.
Yep.
We might have to kick it to Sunday. Getting back from a business trip. If we postpone the show, but each week Mike's got a little basket of guests, and look for our post every week about the reminder of who's joining. And you never know what's going to come on this show. You never know what discount codes or what giveaways. I mean, we might have trail stuff one week. I mean, you never know. I mean,
Never know.
Look for the
Love it.
post on Wednesdays and Fridays, and you'll see what's coming down the pipe.
Thank you, Peter, for everything. Thank you for everyone tuning in. Big shout out to Judd Rummage.
Yes,
Thank you. Get
Judd.
your 24 scale micro truck stand. I can't wait to get those hung up. So
Yes,
it's
that's
been another
tomorrow's
great week.
tomorrow's project.
Yes, I hear that.
All right. Well, you guys keep it real. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll be in touch.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.